judge, a lifetime of prosecution. Sorry, persecution. I've slipped up there now. A lifetime of persecution. And the facts tell the truth, not the public servants. So over to you, Anthony. Let's
yeah. So what we're gonna do, we're calling this thing London George for many reasons. A little echo from George Floyd and the fact that his name is George as well, but he's based in London. So basically we're going back 20 years. And George and I have a lot in common on our cases for some strange reason. I don't know, but George and I were financial advisors in Zurich. We didn't know it at the time, but at the same time, and we had the same kind of fate. Somebody said they had a court order against us. We both been to jail. We both had our careers taken and our pensions on the basis of this court order. And George has had to take his two lovely daughters out of university. He's lived 20 years with the defamation that he's a convicted criminal. So we're just gonna backtrack a little bit, some of this stuff, and come up to today. We've had something from the Court of Appeal, which is the High Court, which is astonishing. There are many people, obviously, that the same thing is happening to, but they don't even know. This is the problem. So, George, you've hired many solicitors to try and fight this.
Between 35 to 40 solicitors over there.
35 to 40 lawyers over 20 years to clear his name.
We've sacked most all of them.
Yeah, 35 to 40 lawyers. Now, so
including Imran Khan. So.
Including Imran Khan. This is the guy who got Stephen Laurence, one Stephen Laurence case. So even Imran Khan did not solve the case.
In fact, they colluded.
Aye.
They colluded with the police.
You have to speak up a bit.
They colluded with the police.
That's the microphone. Sorry.
We had a young lady who acted at Imran Khan, although it was false arrest, was clearly proven it was false arrest. The police admitted it, agreed to pay 2,000 compensation. The young lady left the firm soon after I then questioned her, left Imran Khan. And since then, I've been fighting a battle, uphill battle with this solicitor to say, listen, this is corruption. They haven't got a case.
But can we?
It then went from one extreme to the other. So we got rid of them, but various other solicitors who more or less came back with the same thing. We challenged them on the validity of my conviction. They said more or less the same thing. We sacked them, and it continues to today.
Can we go back to the beginning? Why were you allegedly prosecuted, jailed, lost your career? What did they say you did wrong?
Well, it was one day in early 2001. The police, after repossessing a property, Redbridge Council repossessed a property in Wanstead area, London 11. And my wife and two young daughters was in a bit of a fix. So what we did, I got some friends, good friends, got together and thought we have to get our own property. So Redbridge then repossessed that council property and chucked us out the street. So I got a property. I had to make it a surprise to my wife, make it a surprise. So I then bought the property. I didn't want her to know because she had this council place. So I signed her signature. The police then turned up at her house about 8 months later and said, I obtained a property by deception. I admitted I signed her signature. She didn't complain. She didn't say anything about it because we were in a bit of a fix. It's not an excuse. I was jailed by the judge at Steersborough Crown Court, sentenced to 2 years for that. litigation.
For putting the signature of your wife on the paper.
That's right.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Although it was without her knowledge, it certainly wasn't without her consent, because she knew afterwards and she'd never complained about it.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. We know the manager who we know of, I'll name him, Paul Meadows. I've known him for quite a few years, Bristol and West in Ilford. Said they informed me after that they knew nothing about the police conviction. They wasn't informed. In 2008-7, Bristol and West was taken over by Bank of Ireland, and the case then got worse and worse because Bank of Ireland then sent forged documents, you name it, every single thing, the scams, Bristol, to this day. They even, because my wife was on benefit while I was in jail, they paid a percentage of the mortgage. In other words, they paid the interest on the mortgage. They then clawed back about 10,000, Bank of Ireland, and said it was illegally paid to the lender. So our arrears went up, and so did the payment. We fought with them again, and they made up some story about the payment being this and the balance being that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we're still in battle with Bristol and West, well, Bank of Ireland today. But what is transpired over the years is that the council, Redbridge Council, was the instigator of all these things, together with the Metropolitan Police of Sue Williams, borough commander for Ilford and Redbridge. For Redbridge, with Sue Williams. We wrote to her. We wrote to our MP, local MP, and he basically dismissed everything and said the solicitor, the police told him to deal with it and the matter's been dealt with. It just dragged on, and there was numerous false prosecution for me, assaulting a neighbor, no evidence, went to Romford Magistrate Court.
Trumped up charges.
Trumped up charges, at least 15. The police brought me to court. We knew all of it was fictitious, so we challenged it with the probation services. Why am I being brought into probation? There's no evidence was laid at the court that I did all this. It turned out that the guy, the two neighbors, a male and a female, white female, downstairs to number 2 Beechwood Park, we're at number 4, he's a convicted paedophile. And it's only transpired last year when Anthony requested some documents from the local council about the case they were taking me to court about. That Redbridge Council appointed Barking and Dagenham legal governance to handle the case. We then asked for the summary of information that was laid against me. They sent 190 odd pages.
197 pages.
97 pages about this guy, and we saw him. We said, what is this? They still went ahead with it. And to be honest, Andy, it would be all day if I went through it for the last 20 years. Every single month for the last years, there's been something by the Metropolitan.
But the 197 pages did not include a prosecution.
Nothing.
And they're doing this to everybody. They send you a large number of pages of documentation. It's usually on this recycled CPS paper, not from the court, always comes from the CPS. And it doesn't include a prosecution in there. But nobody knows, and the lawyers that you hire, how many lawyers worked on your case?
Between 35 and 40 over the years.
35
and
to
I've got
40.
all their names, their email, even the one when I was sentenced at Sneersbrook Crown Court in 2002, April 2002, clear jury. I've got her name, I've got her email, but she's complicit because the documents that we had from the High Court today.
We come to that later.
Right, okay.
That is the punchline of it.
It is the punchline, but as I said, it's so inhumane. It's hard to actually imagine it sometimes, because I mean, I have a situation where my wife had a motor vehicle and mobility. We got it. The police staged, Metropolitan Police, Sue Williams, Chief Inspector John Fish at Redbridge, instigated a break-in of the vehicle, and it caught fire with me, and it fortunately escaped with my life. We found Volvo. It then transpired that this vehicle was subject to fire only last year. They've admitted this happened in 2014. We challenged Volvo on that. Volvo's in Sweden, the manufacturer. They then said, go back to Volvo UK. We challenged Volvo, which is head office for UK, is Bracknell. I then used somebody else's phone, pretending I phoned Volvo in Bracknell and said, this particular vehicle was burnt out and the police never investigated. I almost lost my life in the fire on the M11 in Redbridge. Chief Inspector John Fish covered it up and lied and pretended they were prosecuting me for this vehicle and damage I caused to the roadside, and because the car caught literal fire, and it was fortunate that it was planned. We just found out that it was off duty. Well, she was on duty. She was going on duty to Ilford Police Station, jumped from her private car, said she's going to work, who said, come from the car quickly, it's going to explode. And it did. And then an off-duty fire person, male, at Leytonstone Police Station. And the car burnt out within 3 minutes. It then transpired, we then found this out later that the police planned it all, that these people would come to keep it at a level where they could control it. We have the details in the documents.
So they were in the vicinity, they were present.
They made sure it was, but we didn't realize at the time, because of 2014, we challenged them and Chief Inspector John Fish more or less ignored everything. It's every single thing you can think of. The police, Metropolitan Police did it. And we knew, but we didn't have any proof. We did what we could at the time to fight the system, the irregularity of some of these cases. Unfortunately, we're not legally minded until I met Anthony over 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Then it started to come out, and I've got all the records of crime reference. I've had at least 250 different crime reference over the years from the Metropolitan where they refuse, including videos of some of these crimes that the police refuse to investigate. Since then, up to speed today, the police have moved out at least 80, 90 of those police officers and gave them different numbers. But fortunately, I've got their warrant numbers, which are for gather.
So they disappear from that.
Right.
What was that? Oh, where's that?
That's the Ilford police calling.
Shut that down. Oh, sure.
Yeah, so what it is, coming back to what George said, similar thing happened to my nephew. He was found on the street few weeks ago, about a month ago, in Birmingham. And 1 minute they said the police was there, another minute they said the police wasn't there. Then they said he had no injuries, then he has an injury on the top of his head. Then they put my niece on WhatsApp to identify him, and she's a radiologist, and she asked to see his body, and they said no, and cut the call off. So it's very eerie. The other problem is the police officer told me on the phone they have nothing on the criminal records for Christopher. Yet Christopher had so many criminal cases allegedly against him. So coming back to you, George, they jailed you and took your house.
Attempted. We fought. We've still got the same house. We lost one, but that was because of them. But because they built on that, and
but they took one house.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did.
Okay, so it's enough.
That's
it's a lot.
Yeah.
So now, since that event, up to that point, did you have any trouble with the police?
No.
Right.
No.
So then all of a sudden your life changed. You lost your career because the Financial Service Authority says, the FCA, you can't practice as a financial advisor anymore because you got a criminal conviction.
Yep.
Okay. And then you had built up a pension because you've been a financial advisor for many, many years. You built up a very nice portfolio, and all your income stopped all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Your children had to drop out of university.
Yep.
And then since then, you've had an avalanche of arrests and lockups and people breaking your door saying they have warrants.
Yep.
How many times you've been arrested on a warrant, alleged warrant in your house?
8 times.
8 times. Now, we met about this time last year, just probably after summer last year, about 10 months now. How many cases have you had dropped since that time?
10.
10 cases, 1 a month. This is one human being. Yeah. 1 case a month and you're going through all this dirt all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the last time you were locked up, after the police told you, you went to the station, didn't you?
I went to the court, Romford Magistrate Court, on the 30th of June, 30th of June this year. The police claim I had a trial hearing for driving without a license and insurance. I turned up, prepared. I was 20 minutes late, 25 minutes late. I went to the court, saw the usher. The usher said, Mr. Carter's turned up. Your case has been dealt with in the court, and it's been. I said, well, it can't be dealt with. I've just turned up. And I phoned, my wife phoned, said, I'm running late due to the traffic in the area of the day. So to cut a long story short, I barged my way to the court. I said, I need to see the judge. Judge Gladwell, the magistrate, if he's a judge, stood up and ran from the court. And that they called two police officers. Yeah, I've got their badge number. Dragged me from the courtroom and said, I'm not allowed in there, and stood at the courtroom, court 3 in Romford, and said, I'm not allowed in. My case been dealt with and should go home. And the usher then came out the 30th of July, June, and said, a warrant's been issued for your arrest. A warrant's been issued for you. I said, show me the warrant. I need to see this warrant. I'm turning up. I'm presenting myself to the court. Where is the warrant? Anyway, because Romford police station is across 40 meters, 30, 40 meters from the court itself, the police station, I went over there. I saw the front desk officer, a PSO or POA, what they call them. I said, could you check the system? I've been told across the court, I had a case this morning, and I was told a warrant's been issued for me. She checked, she went 20 minutes away, she said, there's nothing. I said, are you sure? She said, no. The following day, the 1st of July, I had another case. Allegedly, Redbridge Council, Fiona Alderman, the legal person at Redbridge Council, and the Andy Donald, the CEO of Redbridge, brought what they call a criminal behavioral order against me. So there was a hearing then on the 1st of July. So it turned up the day after the 30th. Same court contested that. They had the pedophile person, and I'm going to name his name, Woods, who's that number 2 Beechwood Park, claimed that I did this, them, assaulted them, and I beat him up, and he beat up his wife. The judge, I said, you know, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence that I did all these things? This is hearsay. Where is the document? I said, oh, you can talk afterward, you can question. I said, you know, show me the evidence, and I'll be happy to make a plea. Anyway.
So they want to force you to enter a plea, don't they?
So eventually, I said, I will not take part in this. This is a sham, it's a scam, and the judiciary involved. You are not a magistrate, and I left her. I said, I'm leaving the court. I said, you can go. You can leave the court because you've interrupted. I left the court. That was the Friday. The Saturday, 4 police mafias turned up at my door, said, are you George Carter? I said, who's asking? This is on the 5th of July. Are you George Carter? I said, tell me why you want to know who George Carter is. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I said, yes, I'm George Carter. Oh, we have a warrant for it. So where's the warrant? Anyway, where is the warrant? Where is the warrant for this alleged warrant? But Anthony did say on the 1st, the 30th, they're going to go away and make up a table, and exactly what they did. Anyway, I was carted off to Romford custody from Saturday at 10 or 10:30, 10:25 until Monday at 10:55. Kept in custody, allegedly not turning up at court on the 30th when I was there, whatever. Anyway, that's that. I then saw the custody sergeant, he said, blah, 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 on the Monday, you're going to court, Bark inside. They said there was a fire at Bark inside, magistrate court, I don't know how, or some disturbance, so they can't go. So they picked me up at 11. I was going to 8 to the court from the custody. Took me to Thames Magistrate Court in Stratford and said, I'm now appearing at the court on this Monday, the 5th, due to the fact that I didn't turn up on the 30th for the hearing. Anyway, that was that. I challenged the judge, the magistrate. I said, why am I here? Because previously the custody sergeant told me at Romford Police Station, the judge in Court 5 at Romford Thames Magistrate Court in Stratford has got the warrant. I just said, where's the warrant? Sergeant said, he told me you've got the warrant, Your Honor. I've got. She said, I don't have the warrant. The CPS agreed the warrant. The CPS agreed it's a false charge, but they're going to look into it more. And I've got to go on the 2nd of next month to say what they're going to say, because I'm supposed to be banned. So it's a lot of what you tell.
Can I jump in here? Because this is probably one of the most important moments since I've started this justice campaign situation, where we've had an admission that there is no warrant.
The judge and the police said that.
Normally, they at least have a fake one. And the judge says, I'm satisfied, it's good or something. But for all parties involved,
no warrant,
to simultaneously agree there is no warrant, I think it's a massive game changer as a precedent. People must now build on this.
They must.
And keep challenging when they say they have a warrant.
Challenge the warrant.
There must be a sealed warrant issued by the court. There must be a request for the warrant. You can't just get a warrant. You have to file a request for it.
That's right.
And it's just an amazing breakthrough. We were going to make a big video and song and dance on it until something even better happened today. So you're guaranteed to win that case. You already won it. That is only formality. They're only hoping you might do something stupid. Are they giving themselves time? How can we get out of this? But so you've had 10 cases drop now? 10. How can one human being put up with this when every morning you wake up, you don't know if police going to beat your door down on a warrant? Yeah. Now, you've had all these cases, whatever, but you've had so many drop. Now, you then, what they did, if we could share a screen now, they put up
the prosecutors.
They put up a document. Are we sharing? No, we're not sharing. Am I sharing? No.
Yeah. I've allowed you to share that.
Here it is. Right. They put up this document in evidence against him in the court, right? That he has 12 previous convictions. So they're going to use this against him in evidence. You're not supposed to use previous convictions in evidence, but anyway, they put it up. And I'm telling you, if you scrutinize everything they're doing, you can always catch them out, always, 100%. So they have, we're just gonna, all these convictions are highlighted in red. Let me see if I can blow it up a bit more. Whoops, down a little bit. Okay. So all these different cases, blah, 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 blah. So how does that open up a case for George? Well, you're using these 12 convictions. This one says imprisonment. Yeah. So it's serious matter. Give us the 12 prosecutions and the 12 sealed orders issued by the court on these cases. You see how it opens up?
The prosecutions meaning like the information that was laid to create.
The information that was laid for the 12 cases.
That's right.
Now, we know this was a trumped up document because one of the cases on the list is totally for somebody else. So the only way somebody else's record get onto yours is if it was typed by hand.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, we're interested in particular in this case, the one where he went to prison in 2002 and lost his career and everything else.
Yeah.
And when all the persecution started.
Mm.
Now, we've been asking the court manager
Katie,
for since December
since December, beginning of December.
last year, that's more 8 months,
8 months.
for a copy of the records for this prosecution on this case. And she told us she can't find anything, but she's still looking. And she gave us a letter at some point and stamp it and sign it.
So she gave us 2 letters.
That she can't find it. So whoever made this document, where did they find it? And the court manager can't find it.
Was you asking for just the one, or was you asking for all the?
No.
This one.
We always give them one simple task.
Yeah. So you was asking for the
The
information.
one where he went to jail.
Yeah, for this 2-year imprisonment.
That's
Yeah,
it,
there is no action on it, but that's when all the trouble started.
That's
So we decided to go there. So the court manager can't find anything, but the police have got it, and they've got reference numbers, and Catherine Robinson is the court manager for that area.
Kent magistrate. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one document we wanted to show. Now, I'm just going to interrupt this program a little bit because they did the same thing with Tariq. They said Tariq had
26.
they locked him up about a couple of weeks ago. They picked him up at his home, locked him straight in jail.
Mm.
No warrant, no prosecution, no conviction, nothing. Just locked him in jail. Bang. Now, the same thing they did, they had a prosecution, a so-called prosecution would have been marched, and we've been fighting it. Where is the prosecution? What did you file in court? Blah, 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 blah. They did the same thing. They put a document like this and said he had 29 convictions. So he's been asking, give me the 29 prosecutions and the 29 sealed orders.
Mm. Mm.
And this is what we got today on Tariq. So this is somebody else, but I'm just showing. This is what we got today.
From Met Police.
Met Police, yeah. Bam, bam, bam. How does that work?
Hang on, let me do it 1 second. I'll just change it so it's on you on the speaker, so it gets bigger. That's it. That's it.
There's
So in regards of the offences, you were arrested on the 2nd of March 2021. CPS have made the decision that no further action will be taken
against yourself.
against yourself in regards to this. In regards to this,
This DC Martin. Is that the
DC.
result?
DC Martin was that on there?
Yeah. He's the chief constable of Surrey Police.
That's not DC Steve Martin, is it?
Yeah.
Steve Martin.
DC Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know him?
DC Steve Martin, the same person who's meant to be because he was done by the COPS, the police
IOPC,
investigation of the
IOPC.
Hampstead children case.
He's been pursued by the IOPC, yeah. But
Yeah.
sham. It's a sham.
Wow.
Now, you say that with Hampstead, Tariq's landlord, he had a restaurant, he rented the property from the councillor, Angela Mont, the ex-councillor, who kicked him out during the lockdown with a fake warrant, with a Marston's bailiff. And they beat him up and locked him up instead of arresting the illegal bailiff. And then we found out Angela Mont is on the child sex offenders register. So we're finding out that the people making up these fake court orders, they have a high correlation with child sex abuse activity. Like in my case, the 2 officers who were on the child protection who didn't protect my child or my tenant's baby, they did attend. Christopher Maitland and Stefan Kadek, were both jailed for child sexual offenses. So we're finding a big link.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the Steve Martin. It's a small world when you start.
You do know that it was DC Steve Martin that was the one responsible for John Patterson too.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, I've heard.
Yes.
We have a video on the petition.
The very same man is the same person who did who was pressing charges against John Patterson again, even though there was no information made at the court.
Well, they were coming to Tariq's house every few days, climbing on his garage, peeping through his window, and all these things. And he kept phoning 101. Did the police come here? Is there a reason? And they keep saying no. And then one day they dropped a card through his door. Don't worry, you're not wanted. But why are you coming to my house? And then they came and wrestled him to the ground.
Chucked him in jail.
And took him straight to jail.
Couldn't make this up.
By today, this is like last Friday he came out. By today, we got this baby, you know? So it shows if you tackle these people the right way and let them feel the fear of God, that they're not invincible, they're not untouchable.
They're accountable. They're accountable.
We can get results. It shouldn't be this way, but we're going to go through this tough stage. Hopefully, we will
Hold them accountable.
Get more widespread success for more people. We can only share our information and tactics that we use.
It seems actually, I mean, on the bigger scale of things, if this just gets shared about, that there's going to be a lot more people, that these people, because this is, I mean, again, as Gordon Bowden stated, as John was stated as well, the bonds that bonds all these criminals together, these ones that are in positions, is that paedophilia is all to do with that. And that is the bond that keeps these people bonded together to do what they do.
You know, when people say you're as thick as thieves.
Oh, sure.
So criminality seems to be a good bonding agent for people, but it's not a healthy one. It's a strong one, but it's not a healthy one. But the thing is, Andy, I know you know this, but I'm saying it for the public.
Yeah.
If we crack the court order scam, automatically we are wiping out 90% of all the nastiness of humanity. Because everything they're doing that is on a scale, it involves them either getting a court order against the victim, a false one, and that the victim cannot get a court order to clear their name. So if we cure this one and nail it, we are nailing so many ills because they cannot function and perform without the false authority of the court. So I hope people can see that, get on board, just copy what we're doing. I mean, we're getting this one man sitting there, 10 cases in 10 months, he'd have been in jail now, right now. Yeah? Again, you just came out of jail the other day. they locked him up for the weekend, and he goes and they said we don't have the warrant, and that's a world record. So we need more people to just attack it. You know,
not forgetting the 2 years that he'd previously done that they've got no record of either.
No.
Yeah.
The 2 years he'd previously done, there's no record that he'd ever got done through a court.
We're gonna come back with it. We had better than that. We had better than that.
I think Andy, we should say a lot of these things from my inquiries and people I've spoken to. We know the Metropolitan Police hold their crime management department in Sidcup, Kent, and also in SW6, which is Fulham, Lily White, Emperor State Building, and the amount of skullduggery, you would not believe it. In fact, it's a police state, really, because the good thing is since 2011, 2012, I've followed all these officers, senior officers, and I can name them all who they are, and they know. Because until I met Anthony and we hooked up and said, these are what's been going through, I challenged them. I challenged paedophilia in the little neighborhood we are. It's a small Beechwood Park where we are. No, out of say 210 people, not one person would stand up. Unfortunately, what I did, whether it's right or wrong, I put the name of my, because I know the crime number that the police, because I checked with SIDCOP, was there a crime? Is this crime number match? And can you give me a description of what the crime, robbery, this, I did that. So I challenged it and I actually put it on the notice board in a tree in my garden with the police warrant number. John Fish, Clive Darville, Chief Inspector Darville, Sue Williams, Richard Tucker, Commander Richard Tucker at Newman, Waltham Forest, Marcus Barnett at Hackney and Tower Hamlet Council, Trina Fleming at Haringey and Enfield. They all went up there. So hence why I knew what they were doing. In fact, the police actually said I'm harassing them. Because at one stage or another, I was kept under arrest in custody at these jurisdictions, and these officers obviously was given. So I put the details of the officers there, and I know there's not one single person of 200 in this small vicinity where Beach Rock would stand up on that. Not one. In fact, they've got most of them, 98% of them, to give false witnesses against me that I've done this, I've done that, I'm a criminal behavior order, antisocial behavior, you name it, but they can't put it. No, there's no evidence. My video records various things of what's happening in the area, put it to police, even with a pedophile who was at number 2 Woods. Oh, they said there's no evidence, the video don't have no recording. Although you can see him doing what he was doing. It just goes on and on and on.
But since you started to knock out the cases, what happened to the pedophile neighbor who's been giving evidence against you all these years? What happened to him?
Moved him out 6 weeks ago. They moved 2 of them out. After 2 weeks, he said he sold his house and he can't take enough. So the 30th of 1st of July this year, he came, gave tickets to it because I was harassing him. And he moved him out.
And what happened to the chief executive of the council, Andy Donald?
He's run off. We don't know where he's gone.
He's gone.
Did they class it as harassing or did they class it as stalking?
They said harassment. I shouldn't. Actually, in actual fact, they've got a criminal behavior order. Said I mustn't contact the police unless it's an emergency or any member of the police. I mustn't contact any the the actual serial liar, Miss Christina Dick, because we know what's coming. Special measure is gonna be introduced in the next 3 months. That's why they made him a dame for Metropolitan Police. Manchester's on it. I went to see someone in Exeter about 5 weeks ago. She said the Exeter and Devon and Coral is a mess. The police run the borough, the criminal community borough, and I'm thinking, what is this? Are we living in North Korea? We may as well be there. The guy actually said, "Where I got the car?" He said, "Listen, anything you get with her." We all scared the police because they just run it like it's just a mafia. It's actually unbelievable when you hear somebody saying it and say, "What?" The whole of the 42 command posts in the UK, England, and Wales, 70–80% of them under special measure, and no one knows that. Manchester was the last one, and London's the next. I'm telling you.
So
it's terrible. It's shocking. It's actually shocking.
As Tarek would say, the pyramid of triangle.
No, it is.
The pyramid of terror.
It is.
The pyramid of terror, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, the council, the police, and the court.
And the bailiffs. Here's the bailiffs.
Yeah, well, they come under the court. But let's come to, we had this document. What else have we got, George? Coming back now to the court, when George got this, he thought this alleged conviction, which he allegedly signed his wife's name, and his wife never even had made any complaint. She wasn't a witness in the case. And he had 40-odd lawyers, and none of them asked the question. So George has gone to after he had this alleged conviction, he went to the Court of Appeal and appealed. And they reduced his sentence allegedly from 2 years to 1 year. So you had to do a year, and then you did probation.
6 months. 6 months.
Now, let's look what the Court of Appeal said today. That's why George is tired, but he doesn't feel like sleeping right now.
Let's just bear in mind the fact that, if I wanted to sign for my wife, I can sign for my wife.
No, that's fine. Let us say you did a crime. Let's say he did it wrong. Yeah?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
But it got to be due process.
Yeah, yeah,
His wife had got to make a complaint.
Right.
Then they got to make a prosecution.
mm,
Then he's got to be served with that prosecution
That's
issued
right.
by the court.
mm,
And that is what he's defending against.
Yeah.
Because he could come to court and say, yeah, I signed it.
which I did.
But, you know,
So,
no harm was done. And she asked me to do it. And it was to facilitate, it was some catastrophe. We could have,
mm,
we would, you know, that we had some problem.
mm,
But I'm sorry, but no harm was done. Nobody's claiming a
no
loss.
financial loss.
So 20 years has gone by. The man has suffered, his family, his income, his lifestyle. He's been defending in court all day long. Imagine what that does to your blood pressure. You know, the other day we had the illegal eviction, Andrew. We did it live on Facebook with Margaret.
Yeah.
After the bailiffs left, they didn't do the eviction. That was a nice Zoom, stopping a bailiff on Zoom. I told her to go to the doctors, and she did. And they tested her blood pressure, and they said it's serious.
Mm.
And they did an ECG. They said she actually had palpitations. She is a hair's breadth away from a bloody heart attack.
Yeah.
And this is the harm you don't see. And this man's been through 20 years of it. Every bloody day of your life. A dozen court cases, barristers, lawyers. You can't get to earn a living. Your income has been stopped. Everywhere you look. I mean, they even tried to deport you or something.
Yep. But I know what they were doing at Redbridge Council, Sergeant Sadiq, again on the chief nurture fish. So I said, what am I signing? Fortunately, I made contact. I've got the documents. They wanted me to sign where you're from. I said, I was born in Jamaica, blah, blah. Well, they had the record. But can you sign this? Because what then is transpired is obviously these fake cases and fake warrant, they were using that to say, listen, although I had a British passport, which by the way, the police got somebody else to use, and my license, and I have the information on that. My passport, somebody was posting this to me. I thought, I'll leave that. I'm not really, but yeah. And my driver's license.
Wow.
Yeah. So
basically made a fake one up.
I'm going to jump quickly. Let's try and share screen again. Okay. Where are we now?
The Court of Appeal.
Wait, no, I want to go onto my this one.
Just to let you know when you were sharing your documents before, Facebook blurred it all. It's back on. It's clear again now. It's clear again.
Oh my God.
I don't know whether it was blurred for anybody else, but it was most certainly blurred for me.
Well, they'll do it for everybody else, I believe me.
It's okay because we've got the recording anyway. We're recording it now.
Okay, so let's jump onto some share screen situation here. Let's see if we can pick it up. Here we go. So if you want to go and prosecute people for forgery, you must come to this website, forgesignatures.com. And here's thousands of forged signatures. Yeah, Stephen McAllister. How many documents you had from Stephen McAllister?
At least 350.
Threatening your freedom and liberty. Yeah.
Justice Clerk of Northeast London Magistrate Court.
Look at these forged signatures. Thousands of them.
350.
And these are just copy and pastes. These are not real signatures.
That's right.
No, but they're robbing people with it. You understand?
Oh, for sure.
But the thing is, some of them they copy and paste. It's the same. This signature here,
Anthony Bennett.
It appears in so many different institutions with so many different names. This identical thing. Yeah. And
Anthony Bennett below.
Anthony Bennett is one of the witnesses against you. Look at that signature. So why don't all these people get prosecuted? George, since I prosecuted you for forgery, don't be discriminatory.
That's right.
Come here. It's all here waiting, waiting for you. So anyway, let's get to the bombshell. what we had today from the Court of Appeal. Yeah. Here we go. Dear Mr. Carter, thank you for your response. Blah, blah, blah. However, I cannot find any sealed order in this case. Yeah. Do I need to say more?
Yeah.
You understand? This is in black and white, written. So how did he manage to have a trial in the High Court?
Without a sealed order. Yeah.
They don't have a sealed order with it coming in from the magistrate and from the Snaresbrook Crown Court.
Nothing.
And
Which one are you sharing now, Anthony? Because you're sharing the Zoom page.
let's stop sharing and start sharing again.
Just to let you know, Facebook blurred it all out again.
Is it?
It has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're recording it. It'll be on YouTube and whatever.
Put it on YouTube.
But thank you for the I cannot find any sealed order in this case. This is from the High Court,
Today.
the Court of Appeal. Today,
What's the
so
date on this? What was the date on this?
today.
Today's date, yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're so excited,
Mhm.
because 20 years of suffering.
Yeah.
How can he have a trial?
Mhm.
So there is no sealed order from the magistrate, no sealed order from the Snaresbrook Crown Court, where you had a jury trial.
Mm.
Jury trial. A
It's
fake
right.
jury trial,
Amazing.
just like me.
Yeah.
And then the Court of Appeal itself made an alleged order, but they haven't got one because it says they can't find any in the case. So whatever they made up is not an order.
So when he was put into prison, where was the order that the prison was given to
We're
to
gonna write to
accept?
the- we're going to write to the prison for that.
Yeah, exactly. So you got the prisoner, the probation, all the lawyers,
The lawyers.
all raking in money on legal aid, the public funds, on the basis of this order.
Mhm.
And here the High Court is saying there is no such order.
Yeah.
And he had 40 odd lawyers over 20 years. Never found this out.
I do believe you'd have asked them though, wouldn't you? You must have asked these lawyers this question.
Every one of them. That's why
Every
we
one
were
of them, yeah.
Every one of them. That's why we were suspicious. Imran Khan must have sent 7 to 10 different lawyers because they were affiliated to them. When you go to, I can name all of them. The original person, you'll see her name on there in the conviction in 2002, clear jury. After, there was nothing.
So this
it's a little bit of
this is the highlight of the day. You know, we need the public pressure because
yeah.
we're finding a winning case after case by the dozen.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we're running into hundreds now.
Yeah.
But we're not getting the people banged up. We get our arse out of the fire. Yeah, we get cases dropped, but people must bear the consequences
Of their actions.
and the victims must get some kind of compensation. You know,
Absolutely.
George had an income of about £2,000 a month that he's built up from his business. Since 20 years, that income has been stopped. The accumulating and compound effect of that income.
Mhm.
Whose bank account is this money going into?
Well,
Those people have made a profit on this fake court procedure.
one thing we do know, Andy, is that the police have got to not only my building society, who didn't know anything about Paul Meadows is the person on West Midlands, he said he didn't know anything about the prosecution. We know they've got into stop my bank account, falsify different with cooperative bank in Walthamstow. We know they've done that. So it's a lot of category of a lot of nonsense, which we knew. We knew a lot of it. 99.99% was fake. The only thing they could say, you were driving, but it's not until like you were driving, your license expired, your insurance expired. But then I transpired after speaking to Anthony, it realized my insurance hadn't been stopped because it's a 12-month contract. So what the police did, Paul Spencer in late 2017 went down to Leabridge Road, cover leaf and tell them to stop my insurance. When I found Haven, I said, what's this? He said, we didn't know anything about it. So it's the broker that the police, and he gave me the number of the officer, his badge number, who came and told him in Cloakleaf, in Leebridge Road Lake, they said, stop his insurance so we can actually prosecute him.
Can you imagine the police working like this, my friend?
No.
Going to cancel your insurance so
totally
they can.
right.
It's off the scale. So listen, can we end it there? This is the big thing.
Yeah.
A confession from the Court of Appeal. There is no sealed order. Where is the government? Where is the police? Where is Cressida Dick?
Yeah.
Where is what's his name? Buckland? Where is the Prime Minister? How many people are in jail right now under these identical circumstances?
Very much so.
Let's do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, support our petition against court order scam, because this is the remedy for so many ills in society. Andy, anything to finish off?
Only to the fact that you've actually caught out Facebook too, because I mean, to be truthful, we should download that and put it to a side by side to just watch every time a document came out, how they blurred it all out. What an absolute disgrace.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Mark Zuckerberg, I tell you a joke. We're gonna do a video about Facebook, because I got a letter from my credit card company when Facebook was taking money from my credit card, and everything I did and communicate, they wouldn't stop. And the credit card company investigated it and refunded the money and said fraud, 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 fraud. So why is Mark Zuckerberg not in jail then?
It's not Mark Zuckerberg. It's the chief executive of GCSQ in Cheltenham, because I've got to know that it's them that's doing it, use the police services. It's not them. They just use it an excuse, say Facebook with all that. It's just a way, because I did not realize downloading some of these things, so-called protection on your computer, it's a way of extracting your data. It's a load of rubbish. I wrote to him in Globe Road, in GCSQ in Globe Road, and he blocked my email, because I knew some of the things that comes out is actually amazing. Then we have CCTV camera, which I've configured. So we know the police was using them. And you tell people, say, no, you can't. They can, and they do.
They will certainly do, yeah.
Why in the area that I live, near Leytonstone High Road, it's a quarter of a mile, and the authorities have installed 48 different cameras a quarter of a mile to spy on people. Why? This is from quarter of a mile is nothing. 48 cameras, face recognition. So when people say it's not this way, it's the government through GCSQ and the listening device in Lambeth. I'm telling you.
For sure.
But they don't think people don't, because they rely on people's ignorance.
Anyway, I just wanna cherish this little achievement today. It's big, and it speaks for a lot of people.
It does.
I cannot find any sealed order in this case. It's done. So how do we get justice? It's another chapter, but I'm over the moon. Last week they said they confessed they had no warrant, and this week you got this in black and white. There is no sealed order. So let's hope we can.
The 20 years of persecution and no sealed order.
This is an exceptional guy. Most people would have not survived this, and they would say you're bad or mad or whatever.
Yeah,
but
George, in fact, they've got the locals in my area to say I've got something wrong with me. I've got something in his head.
That will make it true.
Because the only thing I would say,
George, you got in black and white now. Yeah. Absolutely. I cannot find any sealed order in this case. So all the people who are prosecuting you need to have their head examined why they are finding
it's not
satisfaction.
It's wickedness. And
to be truthful, guys, I think what all those people involved in that need their computers and laptops taken out and checking for child pornography.
Listen, something I've discovered, and when I say discovered, talk to different people. I was actually at the Mexico just the day, because I'm a Liverpool supporter, and the day the Liverpool disaster, I went over to Liverpool. I didn't go to the match because I was in Mexico at conference. And I heard it unfolded at 2:30 with Nottingham Forest. And Andy, some of the things that you wouldn't want to believe is this country. And the government knew what happened. They knew what happened. The police in South Yorkshire even put dead alcohol in the dead bodies in the morgue to say they were drunk.
For sure.
I mean, I swear, God didn't know. I cannot believe some of it. But then the reality is what I went over. So Margaret, if you go and Google Margaret Aspinall was fought, some of those relatives have died, not knowing up to the 99 people who the police. I'm not saying some of it was a mistake, but the cover-up is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And it's throughout it's from the breath of the country.
And talking about covering up, like, I mean, that's why they've got Nick Clegg in Facebook now as well, don't forget. Nick Clegg is in control of Facebook now as well.
Yeah, in Arizona. Yeah. I did read that last year. Position.
All right, man. Listen.
Wow.
Shall we call it a day? We live another day. We're gonna put some footage of George and the police. He has some on video. He's gonna put it up on the petition and stuff on YouTube and wherever.
Yeah.
But Andy, thank you very much, mate. I know you're working so hard on this matter. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys.
Cheers.
God bless
Bye.
you. Bye.